It is now 1:30. We are going to begin the proceedings with a special magistrate code enforcement for the city of Palatka. And now we'll turn on the microphone to make it work better. My name is Ron Brown. I'm a licensed attorney, licensed by the state of Florida and appointed by the city commission of the city of Palatka pursuant to Florida statutes and the city code to preside over today's proceedings. This is what we call a quasi-judicial proceeding. It is not a formal court of law. We will take evidence and testimony. We'll hear allegations from the city regarding violations of various parts of the city code. The people who are respondents who have been given notice to appear today will be given an opportunity to make any comments and offer any testimony and any evidence that they may have regarding the alleged violations. As I said, it's not a formal court of law. We do not follow the formal rules of evidence, but we are required by the Florida statutes to follow the essential requirements of due process and fair play, which means you're going to try to treat everyone equally in terms of the way the evidence is presented. And so we'll do our best to make sure that occurs. Everyone will have an ample opportunity to speak and to be heard and to ask any questions that you may have. One of the requirements for this type of proceeding is that the evidence be what's called substantial and competent, and that requires that it be sworn. So I'm going to ask all those who will be testifying today, if you would please stand, raise your right hand, and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear or affirm the testimony I'll be giving today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Yes. All right. Everyone has done that. It is our custom that we will take those who are present first. First one here today appeared to be case number 2021-13. Respondent Adeline, is that correct? Adeline Green. The property is 601 North 10th Street. Ms. Green, if you come on up. David, Mr. Green, are you handling the case?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Green is going to go ahead and give the city's position on this, and then you'll get a chance to respond. And I may have some questions also, but feel free. Okay, if you have anything to ask of me, please also do that. All right, Mr. Green.
This case is 2021-013, property of 601 North 10th Street, Palatka, Florida. The original violation was section 9-183C, location of accessory buildings and uses. The shed and property placed near of right-of-way and property line. The violation was first observed 2/24/2021. The notice for this hearing, the notice for the hearing was sent 09/2021. On excuse me, on 3/22/2021, a warning notice was sent to be in compliance by 4/05/2021. Reinspection was excuse me. A reinspection was conducted. Probably still not in compliance. A notice of hearing was sent 4/9/2021 before the magistrate hearing. Reinspection of the property on 4/19, still out of compliance. The first page is the violation, copy of the violation in front of the pictures.
And Ms. Green, the evidence they have is going to be on the screen. You've seen that already. If you have any questions about it, just let us know.
You go to picture number 2, the building is not 5 feet away from the main building.
Mr. Green, can you back up 1 minute for me?
Yes, sir.
The particular code provision you're citing is 94-183?
Yes, sir.
And that's location of accessory buildings and uses?
Yes, sir.
There are 3 subsections. Is there one in particular?
Yes, sir. C.
C as in Charlie?
Yes, sir.
So no detached accessory building or use shall be located in the front or side yard and with a setback of 5 feet from the rear property line.
Yes, sir.
For corner lots, detached accessory buildings should be located in the side yard and will meet a 5-foot yard setback.
Yes, sir.
All right. So you're going to show us why this property violates that section.
Yes,
all right,
sir.
go ahead, please.
Picture number 2. Not 5 feet away from the main building.
All right. Show me what we're looking at here.
That's the main house.
Yeah.
And then this the green building is the shed.
Okay. Very good. Okay, go ahead.
All right. On picture number 3, that's the real fence line, the real property line.
So the accessory building has to be 5 feet from the rear property line.
Yes, sir.
Now, the picture before that was which property line?
That's on her property.
Okay. Is this a corner lot?
Yes, sir, that's what I'm finna
It
get
is a
to.
corner lot.
That's what I'm getting to.
So what we're looking at is this basically you're asking for a violation if the detached building is within 5 feet of the rear property line and
Too close to the
in
main
it's
building.
5 feet from the side property line.
And no, that's a picture right there. We're not in dual
Okay.
frontage.
And that's the corner lot and it's the side property line.
Yes, sir.
And that's less than 5 feet?
Yes, sir.
How do you know?
Well, it's not 5 feet from the rear property line and it's dual frontage, side and front. I can't go on her property and measure.
Okay. So you got the side lot and we're with the back lot. Make sure we're on the same page. That's the side yard of a corner lot.
Yes, sir. And you back up one, number 3.
And then
That's the rear lot.
that's the rear lot.
Yes.
It's actually touching the fence.
Yes, sir.
No, it's not touching the fence.
Is that shed kind of side kind of come off of it? No. Okay, that's the
I
back
gotta
lot.
Look at it right there.
I have
Is that the
trouble
same
with-
shed?
Sir?
That's the same shed.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else?
No, sir.
Pretty simple. Your turn.
All right. Well, when I purchased the shed, I didn't know nothing about the codes, how it went. I purchased the shed, I paid for it in full from Handy Houses over there in East Palatka. They came out and they checked the spot I was gonna put it in. They said it was fit there. So they came out 2 weeks later and they placed it there. I wasn't aware that it wasn't supposed to go there. So then David came by, put the paper, the notice to me. So I was gonna buy the lot across the road. But then he informed me that I couldn't put it there without a house structure being there. So then, well, I guess at that point, I didn't really know what to do. So my mom has a house out on 107 North Beach Street. I was gonna put it there, but she's getting it towed down right now to get a house built back up. They were supposed to start tearing that house down March 24th. They haven't started on it yet. So it was supposed to take them 3 months to get that house up and I was gonna put it there. But they haven't got it started yet, so I don't wanna bring that shed in and it's in their route of doing the water and the sewer. So right now, I'm in the pickle.
Well, how long is it going to take you to get this shed moved?
Well, hopefully the next 2 months, hopefully next month. Well, in my backyard, I have 25 feet in my backyard and I can put it there. The reason for me getting the shed is because my husband passed and he left me with a business and I have a lot of equipment and I needed to store my stuff somewhere. So I brought the shed to get my equipment contained so I stopped losing equipment because it's getting stolen, right in front of my feet. So that was the main reason for the shed.
How long has the shed been on this property?
Well, since my paperwork say I paid for it on November 17th.
Of
That's what this is
2020?
saying.
Of
But this is-
2020?
Yes, no, well, 21. But this violation
Well,
is saying
this is 21, it's April. Must be 20.
February 17th.
February of
February
this
17th,
year.
2021.
Okay, very good.
But this citation, this violation is saying February 16th. So I don't know how it was even violated on the 16th when I didn't pay for it to the 17th. Then it came in 2 weeks later.
And the violation only occurred when somebody saw it there.
Yeah.
And I presume there was a complaint about this
Yes, sir.
and they went out and investigated it. And when did you investigate?
224.
Of the 24th? So at least it was the 24th. I mean, that's not really relevant to the fact it's there.
Yeah, I understand that.
Usually these complaints are driven by somebody in the neighborhood calling up and suggesting that it's a violation and asking the county or city rather to investigate it.
Mhm.
Here's the problem. It's not a hard case in a sense that the shed's pretty big.
And I understand that, but I wasn't aware of the code violation.
Well, I
was
understand
under-
that. here's the thing. Usually the city wants to get it resolved in 30 days. What makes you think you're going to be able to get it off in 60?
I don't know how long y'all would give me the extension to, or what, I don't know. I'm just, I was gonna move it, but they haven't started tearing the house down yet. So I don't want to take it in there, but like I said, in my backyard, I do have 25 feet. I can put it there in my backyard, and I got 5.5 on the front and 5.5 on the back. It's long enough. So if that's what I have to do, that's what I have to do.
Well, usually my experience with the local government is these things come up and what they want to see is some kind of relatively firm deadline as to when it's going to be solved.
Well,
They just don't want to leave an open end and say, fix it when you can or other circumstances, because it is a violation.
Yes, I
And it can
understand that.
start accruing fines if you don't get it fixed within a certain time. Right now, the city is asking for 30 days. Is that right, Mr. Green?
Yes.
To get this resolved. And nothing's going to accrue as a fine for 30 days. But after that, it could start costing you $25 a day.
Okay.
So, and so is the city asking for 30 days? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, if for some reason, I can't speak for them, I just give you an observation as what I've seen other local governments do is, you got to make some kind of good faith progress to convince them this thing's going to get moved.
Well, really, I did, because when I first got my first violation, I was going to buy the property across the road. I started cleaning it off like 3 or 4 days later. But that's when I found out David came by, he told me that I couldn't put it down the structure. So then I was they were supposed to tear my mom's house down the 24th. And within a month after that, I should have been able to put it there, but they haven't started tearing the house down yet. So that's the only reason why I haven't moved it. But as soon as they get to going with tearing the house down, I'll be able to move it.
And again, that's a concern that you have. My only job is to determine whether or not there's a violation today. And the time frame to try to repair it. And cities can give guidance as to what they're willing to accept as a time frame. Right now, it's 30 days. Mr. Cutright?
Thank you.
60 days.
Mr. Cutright, I can't hear you.
All right. So I'm hearing the city wants to do June
60 days.
June 21st. You're going to get an order that's going to indicate there's a violation of section 94-183C of the code because accessory building is too close to the side and backyard. You're going to get 60 days, which is going to be a little bit longer because it falls on a weekend. You'll get until June 21st. Is that right, Karen?
Yes.
June 21st to comply. All right. If you do not comply on June 22nd, $25 a day is going to kick in as a fine.
I haven't moved.
Okay. But this is going to give you something to push against. And they're being generous. They want to give you an opportunity to try to resolve this situation. But if you can't get a place to move it, it's going to start costing you some money.
I haven't moved.
Do you own this house?
Yes.
You don't want to lien on this house. That's what happens next if the fine isn't paid. And so it'd be a good idea to go ahead and see if you can get it resolved as quickly as possible. Your address, mailing address, 601 North 10th Street.
Mhm.
All right. And did you get the letter they had sent you regarding the notice of this hearing?
No, but I did receive this on.
Okay. Is there a better address for you that you
No,
get?
that's
Okay. All right. Let's make sure it gets there. You get a green card signed?
Yes, sir. We got the first one signed.
Okay.
Yeah, I got the first
one. Okay. So I just want to make sure you got a good address, to make sure you get notice
yeah.
of this. Okay. So you're going to be getting an order in the mail that indicates the finding a violation. You got 60 days plus another day or so because it's on a weekend to resolve this. Stay in touch with, I guess, Mr. Green handling your case. If you have any difficulties, make sure you keep him out there. And when you get in compliance, let him know so he can come out and make sure it's in compliance.
okay.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. The next two cases, we have someone appearing by Zoom. Is that correct? Are these individuals here for a case? This is Maria Corporation of Seminole, Inc. Mr. Corzo with us.
Yes, good afternoon, Magistrate Brown. Can you hear me?
Welcome. Welcome. Glad to have you with us.
Yeah, thank you for allowing me to appear by Zoom. Appreciate that.
Okay.
And good afternoon to you, Officer Green.
And
How you
just for
doing?
the record, Mr. Corzo, are you a principal or owner of Maria Corporation of Seminole, Inc.?
Yeah, I appreciate the question. Here's the backstory with Maria Corporation, just briefly. I'm an attorney in Orlando, Florida. I represent Maria Corporation to the extent that they're made up of my family members, and they actually comprise the entire board of that corporation. So I just do this, on behalf of my family, but I'm an attorney who represents them.
Okay. So this is, let's start with case 20-21-15, the property located at 424 Emmett Street, Palatka. And this is a violation regarding, and I don't know, Mr. Corzo, can you see the screen? Is there screen sharing he can have with this?
Yeah, I saw it earlier in the earlier case, so I know that they can do it if they just share the screen or something. There we go. Yeah, I can see it now.
All right, for the record, what we seem to have at this property, there are 6 different violations. Is that correct, Mr.
Yes,
Green?
yes, sir.
We have violation regarding section 30-170 of the code, rear and side walls with paint deteriorating. Section 30-171 windows, multiple windows broken or damaged. Section 30-32A, prohibited conditions and public nuisances, overgrown vegetation and downed tree limbs. Section 30-176, exterior property areas, shed is in a dilapidated condition. Section 30-169, building fronts and sides, abutting streets or public areas, the fencing in poor condition, rotting portions of structure exposed. And that's a structure of the house on the
Yes.
property. And then section 30-179, other repairs, front door open and animals entering the unoccupied dwelling through doors and windows of fence rusting. I'll let you get to it, but just as a question, is the house open? Anyone can go in?
I went by and inspected it again yesterday, sir, and they closed the door, but before the door was open, and it was cats on the ground, cats on the roof.
Okay, well, let's do this. And if you would begin, just go over them one violation at a time and show us the demonstrative evidence and other testimony you might have regarding the violation.
Yes. Go to picture number 2, the broken windows.
Okay, just for the record, are we going numerically through the violations and along with these photographs?
That is our hopeful, yes, outcome.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Is this in the South Historic District down there?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay,
It's one of the old historic homes there. It's been in our family since the late 90s.
was this the old Massey house?
Yes, sir, it is. Yes, the old Mellon Massey house. Yes.
Okay.
Spent a lot of time there in my youth helping my dad fix that place up, but it's been a labor of love.
I remember Mr. Massey well and the house and
Oh,
its
yes.
various states of condition. But nonetheless, that's not what we're talking about today. We're looking at this case. Mr. Green, go ahead.
Picture number 3, another broken window.
Okay, and what we're looking at here is what?
A broken window.
Okay, open window,
Broken.
broken window, that's a violation of 30-171.
Yes, sir.
How many of windows, go ahead,
4.
okay. And this slide number 4 is also,
Broken window.
okay,
And then number 5 is also broken window.
okay,
Okay, number 6 is 30-170 rear and side walls, and 32 overgrown grass, vines, and overgrown.
So this
grass
is-
up walls.
30-32A, overgrown vegetation.
Yes, sir. And rear and
So-
side walls.
You can't have a vine grow up the side of your house? Okay, just asking. Okay, so that's what that's about.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Next one,
And hold on, just for clarification, the overgrown vegetation, is that there's some other vegetation in the photograph aside from those vines? So would it be strictly removing the vines from the home, or is there anything
Well,
else in that
I
photograph?
think he's looking at the vines on the house.
Yes, sir.
Is that what you're saying? Is
Vines on
there
the house,
anything?
yes, sir.
In this photograph, you're presenting this to show the vines on the house.
Yes, sir.
Okay. There may be something else, but that photograph's about the vines on the house.
And this one is the exterior properties. That's a shed that's behind the house.
So these vines are growing on the shed in
Yes,
the
sir.
rear?
The buildings that is falling apart. The shed.
Okay. So 30-176 is shed is in a dilapidated condition. And then you got a separate, hold on, this one also, you're saying deals with 30-32A?
That's the overgrown grass over the
Okay.
building.
Go ahead.
So is the dilapidated condition of the shed the overgrowth on the shed, or is there certain
Yes.
structural or other issues with?
Sir, yes, the structure, sir, it's falling apart.
So I'm sorry, structural? Yes.
Yes, sir. I don't know when the last time you've been here, but yeah, it's falling apart, sir.
Okay. Next.
This is one of those real sidewalls, 50-80, proper maintenance, overgrown grass. It's a lot of debris in that area right beside that column, falling down trees and branches. I have a better picture of it in my pictures that I took yesterday.
Okay, just to make sure, you got a broken window somewhere? That's the upper center? Where?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that was a picture in a previous picture, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, back up, don't go yet, Erin. Sorry. She's eager. Erin's had her caffeine today, and she's eager to move these things along. Don't block it where I can't read it. Move it up a little bit. There you go. And thank you. And you've got
Yes,
rear
sir.
and side walls,
Yes, sir.
30-170, that's,
Yes, sir. It was the rear wall.
okay, what's
And-
that about?
It has a mold on it. I have a better picture of it as we go on. The mold
There's
right
just
there.
more vines on the wall?
Yes, and
Okay.
and it's mold on the wall right there. I have a better
Mold?
picture of it. Yes, I have a better picture of it right there. And it seems like that door is a door open right there in that airway. I got a better picture of it once we go on.
Okay. And then you've got, what's next? You've got 5480?
Yeah, proper maintenance.
Now, I'm sorry, just for
What's
the
the-
mold on the wall, does the mold need to be removed, or does that need to be repainted, or what's the indication there?
Yes, so the mold need to be removed.
Okay.
Well, what's the proper maintenance issue?
Inside the airway, sir. The whatever, I don't know what they called those back in the day.
The breezeway, yeah.
The breezeway, yes, sir.
So the roof needs to be replaced,
The breezeway.
reinforced?
No, inside the breezeway, it's a lot of debris and trash, and that door is open.
So as far as the breezeway, so it's just basically just cleaning that out, making sure there's no debris or garbage or anything like that in there?
Yes, sir. And I believe it's a door open inside that on the other side of the breezeway, away from the main house.
Yeah, if the picture we're looking at right now, if you look at that structure to the left of the breezeway, that was the kitchen. So you can't see the door, but there's a door that leads into that structure there to the left. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes, sir. That door is open.
Okay. So the door needs to
It needs to be secure.
secured. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, next.
We go to picture 10. That's gonna start off for yesterday. The windows are still broken.
It's broken windows again,
Yes,
okay.
sir. That's the close-up of the mold.
That's the mold on the rear side that we were just looking at?
Sidewall, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
And that's more mold on the walls.
So what cure are you looking for? Just get the mold, like, you don't have to repaint it, you just want to get the mold off.
Everything consistent.
I'm sorry?
Everything consistent, get the mold off the wall, paint, pressure wash.
Okay,
And this is a picture with the grass overgrown on the wall, going up the wall.
Okay,
And some more pieces of the broken window.
all right. All right, so where we are, show me the paint deterioration issue. Is that something you're pushing?
Yes, sir, that part.
So, I mean, is the city looking to have this whole house repainted?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So is it the city's position that the only thing that's going to cure this is to repaint the entire house, or can we just pressure wash it so that it's consistent with, so the appearance is consistent with the entire structure?
That'd be fine, sir. You can pressure
Okay.
wash it and the paint is consistent with the whole wall, every paint in the house is consistent, that'd be fine.
Well, I guess my question is the paint actually deteriorated or does it just have mold on it? I know, one of those things. All right, so where we are is broken windows, a shed that needs to be, I don't know if it can be replaced or repaired, but brought back up to a standard of being structurally sound.
Yes, sir.
Lots of vines on the shed and the house, mold on the house. Bring the paint to some kind of consistent appearance.
Yes, sir.
Support
And if you
for the
start right
roof.
there, that's one of the cats right there. You can barely see him.
Okay. A sash in the window?
The cat.
Oh, okay, got you.
The complainant says several cats in that house. I've only seen 3.
So have we got the laundry list of things that need to be done according to the city? What about the fencing? You talk about fencing in poor condition?
Sir,
Building fronts and side, abutting streets or public areas, fencing in poor condition, rotting portions of
yes, sir, that
structure.
fence is rusted,
Is this the wrought iron fence out there?
sir.
Is that a wrought iron fence?
Yes, Magistrate Brown, that's the original wrought iron fence with the granite columns there. It was in great shape aside from the rust. There was some damage done to it. I'm not sure what side that is, but around the on the left there, you can't see it in this photograph, from a recent storm. We were there in December trying to clean some things up. We actually got some giant trees off the home there, so we tried.
Is there something required of that fence other than painting it? Is this fence structurally unsound or?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So is the city asking it to be replaced?
No, just paint it.
Painting would be sufficient?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And there was a structure,
Painting the house, securing the house, repairing the broken windows, remove the overgrown grass on the walls, like secure the breezeway kitchen. Keep the grass cut.
So-
Magistrate
Yeah.
Brown, there hasn't been any indication that the fence is structurally unsound. That fence has been there for almost over 100 years now.
Yeah, I didn't tell him it was unsound until it needed to be painted.
Oh, okay. I thought that was one of the issues. Okay,
No, sir.
my apologies.
all right. Mr. Corzo, you have any other comments, responses, evidence?
No, Magistrate Brown, we acknowledge these. We've, in the past 20 years or so, we've had issues like this come up and we've tried to take care of them. I don't believe that we've had anything go to the need for a fine. So in terms of these, I plan on me personally going up there within the week to just kind of assess the damage and make sure that it is what we were shown that it is. And I should be contracting some help to help me and other family members to complete these projects. So we're not, I'm not really disputing any of these. The pictures speak for themselves. So we just really need time to get these things taken care of. So really, without me being there and knowing what it's going to take to fix that shed, I would say that we would need 60 to 90 days to get this in compliance, but I'm confident that we will finish that well before that. But
You think you can get contracts in place in a certain time frame?
yeah, I think that we will be able to do 80% of it ourselves within the family. The only issue that we might have is with the shed and finding a contractor to help with that. But the windows and the debris, those can be remediated easily. Now that fence, I did have a question about the fence. So the fence is going to be required to be repainted in its entirety.
Yes, sir.
Is there any other?
No, sir.
And the reason why I ask is that fence has been in that shape for, I know it's not really a defense, but that fence has been in that exact same shape for probably, I mean, as long as we've known it, for 20, 30 years, in terms of the appearance of oxidation or rust, as you call it.
Yes.
So I'm not exactly sure what's changed over that period of time, but we're trying to keep that, as original as we can. And I'm not sure what the
Have you, as
I
a
guess the
city,
necessity for that is.
has the city inspected the fence to see its entire shape? It goes
All the way around the corner.
around 3 sides of that place?
Just 2.
2? And is it solid?
It's solid. It just need to be painted. I mean, through the years, he's saying that it hasn't been painted in that condition.
But right now, they're telling me it just needs to be painted,
Yes.
prepped and painted.
Right, that's, for a historical fence like that, yeah, that could be cost prohibitive in terms of just maintaining that property and maintaining that fence. I mean, yeah, that fence is solid. There's no broken pieces or pieces that are oxidized to the point that it's become unsafe or anything like that. So I would just ask for reconsideration there and see if we can, just kind of.
Well, let me look at 30-169 a minute.
Mr. Brown.
Yes. Okay, are you related to this situation? I'm sorry? Okay. I mean, the city wants to bring in other witnesses, then that's up to them. It, 30-169. It wasn't in the list of ordinances that were included in the packet.
The building.
Yeah.
Inside.
I want to see what it said.
It should be behind the paper with the city of Palatka emblem on it. It's right in front with the one with the Palatka emblem. It's right in front, all the way below. It's at the bottom of the page.
All I wanted was the language of the code that talked about what the deteriorating fence was. Well, they cited 30-169. Let's see if it's in the other section.
Section 30-169, building fronts and sides of abutting streets or public areas. A, all deteriorated structural and decorative elements visible from a public right-of-way shall be repaired or replaced. B, every such part of a structure visible from a public right-of-way or abutting a street shall be made structurally sound. Rotten or weakened portions shall be removed, repaired, or replaced in a manner compatible with the rest of the structure or to match the original materials and construction techniques. All exposed wood shall be stained or painted. Every part shall be clean of graffiti, litter, dirt, or other debris. Where surfaces were once painted or stained, Not more than 10% of the surface may be free of paint or stain. C, existing miscellaneous non-functional elements of on the building fronts, such as empty electrical conduits, unused sign brackets, etc., shall be removed and building surface repaired or rebuilt as required to match adjacent surfaces in original condition. D, mildew shall be cleaned from buildings having street visibility, and loose wires such as TV cable shall be
All right, I
secured.
got it.
Yes.
So what I'm reading is, as to those portions visible from the public right of way, every part shall be structurally sound, rotten or weakened portions removed. All exposed wood shall be stained or painted. Every part should be cleaned of graffiti. If they were once painted or stained, not more than 10% of the surface may be free of paint or stain. That's the one that seems to apply to this. It's not wood. So is 90% of it still painted?
None of it's painted, it's stone. You see the stone columns holding the first wall up, and the rest of it is going to the ground.
And
Well, what he's
Magistrate-
saying,
Yeah,
well, if the fence is structurally sound, they're only talking about paint.
Yes, sir.
And they only have to be painted 90% of the way. Whatever that is.
Yes.
Right.
I'm just reading from your code.
Yes, it's not painted any other way.
right. And Magistrate Brown, there's no evidence that, we don't even know what the condition was back in 1880 when the home was built, but it's fair to say that it's the same condition. It's just natural oxidation. You're correct. There are no deteriorated or rotten portions of that. So I would just,
I am going to say, as I'm looking at photograph number 1, most of that fence is rusted on the outside. At least got surface rust on it. There's very little black. Originally it was black, was it not?
your guess would be as good as mine. Like I said, that's the original from 1880. So not exactly sure what was in effect back then, whether it was just natural metal and it's just oxidized like that over the course of time.
Is there any paint on
There's
this fence?
none of that is painted black, so that would just be a speculation or guess on our part as to what it was originally.
No, sir, it's never painted. That's algae what you see on there. That's not painted.
Well, it's mostly rusted right now. All right. He's indicated he's going to try to address this, everything but the fence. I mean, the fence, as I see it from the photographs and the testimony, is mostly not painted. It's rusted.
Right, so would
Like I
that fall?
said, 90% of it needs to be painted.
Okay.
Magistrate, this is Valeria Thomas, the city attorney. I agree with your assessment and especially section B. Can you hear me? This is Valeria Thomas, the city attorney. Can you hear me?
Not really. I can hear you, but I can't really understand you on this very well. I'm surrounded by this plexiglass.
I apologize for the lack of clarity, but I agree with you with subsection B, that should pay special attention to, and that the fence should be painted. That's the city's position.
Okay.
And for the record, what is the subsection B? I thought that was referring to wood and the wood siding and not specifically to metal.
What the section at issue here is section 30-169. It
Correct.
talks about all deteriorated structural and decorative elements visible from a public right of way. And my view of it is this is what that is. It is a fence visible from the public right of way. And it needs to be structurally sound. I do not believe the city is making any claim that the fence is not structurally sound.
Okay. I
The
agree.
element of the ordinance that they appear to be claiming is that where surfaces were once painted or stained, not more than 10% of the surface may be free of paint or stain.
Right, there's no, what is it? There's no competent substantial evidence that that fence was ever painted. It's this natural steel.
And
This is
you don't have
1880.
any, but you don't have any confidence or say evidence that it was not painted.
Right, but it's the city's burden to prove that the violation, is it not?
We have proved the violation. It's up to Mr. Brown now to decide, but I just wanted to emphasize that that's the section that we're going under 30-169 subsection B.
So the only question factually is, was the fence ever painted? Mr. Green, is there paint on the fence anywhere it's not rusted?
Yes, sir. It's painted on the front door.
You got some
the front
photographs
front,
related to
yes.
that?
Matter of fact, yes, sir. See, if you go back to the where I handled the notice at, back on the other side. And a wide view of the house, you'll see black paint on the front, which you walk inside of, with a notice. It's on the side with the violations, the header page. Yes.
Do you have a photo number, Mr. Green?
Sir, I mean, ma'am.
Do you have a photo number?
Yes, ma'am. I mean, no, ma'am. It's on the violation side. And we didn't number the violation side. Yeah.
This is not in the packet?
Ms. Thomas, that photo he was looking at was in his original package, but he went and put it in our package to get to the group.
Okay. Is there a way Mr. Corso can share the photo with him?
Yeah, that would be great because I don't have one with me.
All right. Here's what I'm gonna look at. Go back to,
That's a little bit on the right-hand side, or right beyond that
Yeah.
column. That's a little bit front.
are these on the electronic display?
It should be a scanned everything.
Well, I have in my packet this photograph, which is unmarked. It just shows the
Yes,
street
that's
address
the-
number
that's
and the left pillar for the front gate. And that shows that the gate's black.
Ms. Hughes, do you have that photo?
I'm trying to locate that now in the files.
All right, thank you.
And looking where the numbers for the street corner are, it looks to be black, where it's not rusted.
420.
Now, to the right of the gate,
There we
it's
go.
pretty consistently rusty.
Yes.
And there's one gate element, vertical element, right next to the concrete pillar, which seems to be black also.
Mr. Corso, can you see the photo?
That's what I'm
Yes,
looking
the
at.
one with the, it's got the pillar and
Right, the street
The-
number?
street number on it. Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, I can see that.
The gate's definitely black. Right.
And it appears to be also the top portion of the fence with the street numbers on it, that portion appears to be black. The rest of the photo seems to indicate that the other parts of the fence are rusted.
All right, anything else?
No, sir.
All right, for the record, and this needs to be specified to make sure that we know exactly what needs to be addressed on this property. We're looking at deteriorating paint, which needs to just be made into a consistent appearance. But mold, mildew needs to be removed from the structure. Windows that are broken or damaged need to be replaced. Overgrown vegetation, and what we're talking about there is basically two areas: vines growing on the side of the house, vines growing around the shed, which is the subject of another problem, which is that the shed is in a dilapidated and unsafe condition. It needs to be repaired or removed.
Yes, sir.
I presume the vegetation would have to be addressed to get the shed out of there or to fix it. The fencing is in poor condition. It appears that the fence color was originally black. The code requires that 90% of the fence be painted. The front door is open. Animals are entering the dwelling. Do you have a photo of that? Was there a photo of the front door being open?
No, so they were closed, it was closed by the time I got back.
That's not an issue anymore. So the front door is no longer an issue.
It's the kitchen door in the air.
Was there anything else on your list that needs to be addressed?
No, sir.
All right. City was originally looking for 30 days. Is that still their request? All right. We're going to find that there are violations of section 30-170, 30-171, section 30-32A, 30-176, 30-169, 30-179 of the city code, based on the testimony evidence adduced. We will set, what's 30 days from tomorrow?
30 days.
May 20th will be the date for compliance. In the event of non-compliance, city's asking for $150 a day
Yes, sir.
for non-compliance. And that's something that's within the statutory allowance for that. You'll get an order regarding these notices of violation. There's no fine that accrues today. There will not be a fine that will accrue until the first day after May 20th is the last day, at the 30th day.
Yes, so
May
May 21st.
21st will be the first day for any fine that might be due. My suggestion would be the city really wants to see some compliance, and sometime between now and May 20th, it'd be great to make some effort to get some contractors in line and see whether or not they're willing to work with you. I can't make that decision with regard to extending that time frame, but what the city's looking for is some good faith effort at compliance to get this resolved.
And right, Magistrate Brown, in terms of extending that, that's once the order's in place, correct? Is there, originally I had asked for 60 to 90 days, but
Well-
I know 90 may be too much, but you know, my family lives 4 hours away, and we're, like I said, we're gonna try to do 70–80% of the work ourselves. So right now, you know, that can be a hardship. So I would ask for the 60 days.
What is the justification you and your family are going to give to believe that progress is now going to be made after all this time?
Now after what time? We were there recently in December when some trees fell on the property. We were there, you know, within any kind of time frame. I believe we got notice, or someone had told us about that, so we did take care of that. There were some other issues at the St. John Street that we're going to talk about that we've resolved in the past as well. So over the past 20 years, we have made the effort to get issues resolved when issues do arise. So I would just ask for some additional time to get that lined up. Right now, with the way it is to find contractors, you know, with COVID plus the construction uptick, it's been somewhat difficult. My father's usually the one who heads this up, and he has his crew, but they've since left to take construction jobs. So it's just a little bit tougher at this point. So I strongly believe that we'll have all of these issues fixed within the requisite time, but just out of an abundance of caution, I would ask for the 60 days.
You think you can get contracts in place in 30 days?
I believe that we can.
Well,
And again, that would be for only a small minority of the items. The majority of those items, we're going to be able to remediate ourselves.
you think you can start work on the things that do not require contract within 30 days?
I plan on, I actually personally plan on going up there, like I said, to take a look at something within the next week. And more than likely we'll address some of the minor issues, such as the door and maybe some of the windows and things like that. So I absolutely think that we can get much of it done and contracts done within the 30 days, but would still ask for the 60 days just out of caution.
How about if it's up to y'all. You want to do contracts within 30 days, 60 days for commencing work? That's up to you. You can do 30.
long as we see major progress in 30 days, and we'll give them another 30 days to get contracts in place to do the major damage.
Why don't you do, okay. I'm gonna go with this. Let's make it 30 days for getting all contracts that are going to be required for the remediation in place. 60 days to complete the work. 60 days would be June 21st. 30 days is May
May 20th.
May 20th. So we're going to issue an order to that. They'll give you some extra leeway. So what you need to do is get some contracts in place and show them some good faith effort on the work that doesn't require contract. But basically, you're looking at a 60-day deadline to get this completed. And they're entitled to a $150 a day fine. So I would suggest that it would be a good idea to make sure this happens.
Right,
Right.
and what was that June date?
With that, we're going to conclude that case.
June 21st would be the concluded of 60 days.
Right, and once I have those contracts, do I send them to Mr. Green, or how does that, who do I show compliance to then?
Okay, so we're going to conclude that case. We're now going to, and before I move on, it's not a public hearing, okay? It's not like another kind of meeting. It's a quasi judicial procedure. I don't mind you testifying, but there are only two people who are going to call people to testify. It's going to be the city or the respondent. It's up to y'all. And that's something you work out with the city. But right now, this is what I'm going to hear is what we're presenting in that regard. So, and that's something you guys need to work with the city on in terms of what's going on. That being said, we're going to turn to case 20.
Mr. Brown, hold on. Mr. Corzo had a question. He wanted to know who he should send his information to about compliance and the contracts. Can you hear me? This is Valeria Thomas. I'm sorry, the city attorney.
Okay.
Okay, Mr.
Would
Corzo
you like
had
to
a
ask
question.
her? Would you like to ask her a question?
No, Mr. Corzo had a question, and he wanted to know who he should send his contract information to in the city. And I
Mr.
think-
Corzo asked the question.
Director to Mr. Green.
All right, I'm hearing multiple voices here. This is not working very well.
Okay, I'll go. Mr. Green, I just wanted to know who do I send notice of compliance, for example, for the contracts, so that I can let you know that's been done? Do I send that directly to you?
Send to code enforcement at Palatka
Okay.
Florida.gov.
Mr. Green or Mr. Cartwright, would you like anybody else ask a question of anyone or hear anything else? Okay, I just saw your city attorney ask. I'm just the magistrate. All right. Let's move on then to 20-21024 property at 801 St. John's Avenue. Again, the respondent, Maria Corporation of Seminole, Inc., and Mr. Corzo is here for Maria Corporation as their representative and attorney. And this is a problem, a property. There are 4 violations cited. Section 30-170, rear and side walls, paint deteriorating in inconsistent condition, hole in exterior wall. Section 30-171, windows, window broken. Section 30-32A, prohibited conditions and public nuisances, overgrown grass and debris. Section 30-169, building fronts and sides of abutting streets or public areas, fencing in need of repairs, rotten areas of building exposed. Mr. Green?
Yes, sir. You go to page, picture number 2. This is taken in 3/24/2021. That's a picture of the complete property.
This first slide,
Yes, sir.
is this right on St. John's Avenue's commercial property?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what do you want to show with this
I
photograph?
was just showing the property, sir. This is the fencing in the building front, right off of St. John's Avenue.
This is 30-169 fencing in need of repairs.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And building front not being maintained.
All right.
Number 3,
And,
building fronts not being properly maintained.
okay, you've got on the slide, building front debris.
Yes, sir.
What do you want to see removed from there?
All that debris, and there's some stacked up logs or whatever on that It used to be a gas station, so I guess. it was
Mostly the
south, so-
vegetation in the wood.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What next?
That's a broken window and the roofing and the broken window.
Okay, just a broken window.
Yes, sir. And the roofing has damage.
Okay, you had something about rotten areas of the building exposed. Is this one of
Yes, sir.
those? Roofing damaged?
Yes.
Is that part of 30-171 roofing damaged?
No, it's 3032.
3032? Gotcha, okay. All right, next.
That's the roofing peeling. Roofing's peeling and not consistent. 32,
Okay.
810. More roofing.
Is that
damage.
roof,
Sir,
what's the remedy for that? What are you looking to have done?
repair the roofing.
Repair the roof?
Yes,
So just so it has a consistent finish?
yes, sir.
Yeah,
Don't need
I
to-
do have I'm sorry, I do have a question about that. It's gonna be difficult to match that up. So yeah, I would like a little bit more guidance on that. Because if we put new shingles there where the brown appearing ones look, then it's gonna look different than the rest, so.
Replace the whole roof.
Well, if they're giving you a chance to repair it rather than replace it, you
Right,
might consider that an advantage.
right, but if they're looking for consistency, even if I change those few brown appearing shingles, then that could throw off the appearance of the rest of the roof. And to avoid repairing the entire roof, which wouldn't make any sense if it's just these few shingles that have to be repaired, would be, that would be a burden.
Mr. Green, can you work with them on trying to match the colors on the roof?
Sir, if I do that, I'll do that with the whole city of Palatka.
I mean, he raises a point is what's going to be a satisfactory solution?
If I do that, I just do that with the whole city of Palatka, sir.
Okay, go on the next one.
More roofing damage.
So is the soffit gone from that?
Yes, sir.
So the soffit needs to be replaced and the roof
Yes, sir. So at the edge of the roof.
brought out to the soffit?
Yes.
Okay.
That's another part. That's in the back. That's
Okay, let me get oriented. You're just looking up to the roof?
yes, sir.
It's completely open there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is the side of the building missing?
No, sir.
Okay. What needs to be done there?
It needs to be replaced. It needs to be repaired.
Just close it in?
The roofing needs to be replaced and that needs to be
Okay.
closed in. Yes, sir.
All right, next.
That's in the front. That's the soffit and more roofing damage.
Is that a structural beam?
Yes, sir.
Is that what holds up that roof?
It used to be a roof, I guess, when it was a gas station. Now, and I guess that roof fell in or they removed it or whatever. If you go back to
So
the
what is
first-
that supposed to look like if it's repaired?
A roof. See the front right there?
Yeah,
That's the sides and the inside. That's that beam, the I-beam, that's,
that I-beam held up that canopy.
and it's going from that to the main building.
Okay. So that's a structural piece that held up the canopy and it's now exposed.
Yes.
So can they leave that exposed or you want the roof and back of it repaired? What are we looking at?
Leave that exposed. I want the roof.
But the roof and the back of it's what you're interested in. Okay, got it. Very good. Number 9.
That's the rear and side walls. That's the side wall. I think that's,
And that's a violation of 30-170.
yes, sir.
Okay.
That's a close-up of the hole in the wall.
Is this the same hole?
Yes, sir.
Close up of the same hole?
Right.
Gotcha. So 9 and 10 relate to the same
Yes, sir. I'm
violation.
just getting you a picture of how the wall isn't consistent, and then you have a hole in the wall. And that's the other side of the fence. And that's where the fence is not consistent, the wall is not consistent, the blue. And then you have the brown patch, a wooden patch at the bottom, and the debris.
So most of you want the fencing cleared of the
Yes, sir.
debris
And all of it consistent,
and the debris on the ground.
yes.
Is that
fence
it?
does that fence belong to this property owner?
Yes, sir. It's attached to his building. See the blue wall? That's his.
Mr. Corzine, you agree with that? This is your fence?
Magistrate Brown, I don't have that knowledge, but my question is, right where we're looking at, is that the parking lot of that apartment building? Where,
Yes, sir.
okay, so that debris like that mirror and those aren't on our property then?
I don't know if anyone lives there or not.
That's not what he's asking. He's saying that the debris that you're looking at from this side is on someone else's property.
Oh,
So
There's a
that's not,
fan, yeah.
but
It may
the
be-
red building is his property, which is on
Yeah.
the other side of the fence.
yes. It
So
may
that
be- it
fan
may
and
be
that-
part- It may be that, but it's close to the fence, and I don't think no one lives in that apartment building.
Well, is any of this on
No, sir.
his property? So is there actually a violation as to 801 St. John's on this slide?
Yes, sir. The overgrown grass, the fence, not inconsistent, and the blue wall, that's his wall, and you have the wooden patch right there.
So is that blue building on his property?
Yes, sir. That's it. That's the building.
Right. Next,
This is taken today.
and what are you trying to show with this one?
The building front's not being maintained. You have the debris in the front yard. Still have the overgrown grass and the logs. The next picture. The fencing still hasn't been repaired, and then you have some more debris.
It's just broken fencing,
Yes, sir. And you have the debris right there behind the broken fence.
okay?
And then again.
Look at number 14, this is broken windows.
Yes, sir. It's just a recap of earlier pictures that nothing has been put in compliance yet, has got in compliance yet.
Okay. Did you take all these
Yes, sir.
photographs yourself?
Yes, sir.
And they accurately represent the condition of the property and the
Yes,
date
sir.
you took them? So where we are is we talk about paint deteriorating at an inconsistent
Yes, sir.
condition.
The side wall.
So go back to the first photograph. You've got green, kind of orange, red brick. It's not paint. Is that coral building a part of this property?
No, sir.
Okay.
I don't think.
So what do you
I don't
want
know
to
if they
see?
own that or not.
What do you want to see done to the paint?
It needs to be painted.
You
got
like
the
it
light red and
repainted
You got the red.
to make it a consistent color?
Yes, sir.
And for clarification, consistent in terms of, what? You want me to paint that blue spot there on the top and I'm not,
You have the lights, you have the light red right above that window, then you have the light red or right above the window. It needs to be a solid color. It's fading.
is that the only issue in terms of the paint on the front in this picture?
Yes.
What the code says in 30-170, rear and side walls shall be repaired and painted to present a neat and fresh appearance. Rear walls should be painted to cover evenly all miscellaneous patched and filled areas or stucco to present an even uniform appearance. As to the front, All what 30-169 requires, all deteriorated structural and decorative elements visible from a public right of way should be repaired and replaced. Every part of a structure visible from a public right of way shall be structurally sound. Rotten or weakened portions should be removed. All exposed wood shall be stained or painted. Is that what we're looking at for the front?
Yes.
Does that specific provision go into detail about the paint? Because I mean, it is painted,
It says it says it needs to be painted.
correct, but is there a subsection that dictates the extent of the paint, or whether it can be decorative, or whether it can be antique looking, or anything? Because whether it's painted, it is painted, it's just some is painted red, some is green.
It just says all exposed wood shall be stained or painted.
Oh,
Is that
that's
what, is
wood.
that a wood building?
Oh, that's wood. That wood red at? Oh, that's wood, sir.
Okay. I think what Mr. Corzo is saying, does that mean it has to be some kind of consistent color? It just
Yes,
says it has to be stained or painted.
It needs to be a solid color, solid red or solid blue, whatever color.
Right, where does it say that in the code?
Dash 30-169 building front side should be consistent. Oh, decorative facing, I don't know if you're from Orlando, that's St. John's Avenue, that's a main street. So that's a street, and then the side street, that's 8th Avenue, that's a abutting street. So
Right.
it need to be painted a solid color, sir. If you see, it's fading. One color is
Well-
darker red and the other colors.
I mean, I can get what you're saying, solid, I can paint that blue portion, because that's not part of the red.
That's a sign.
Yeah, I can remove that, or I can paint that way it'll be consistent, but I mean, it's one color, it's red. Some is, different shades, but
30-170 says if it's wood, it needs to be
a solid
painted.
color. It needs to be consistent.
So the city's asking for, what he needs to know in terms of compliance is what is it you're looking for?
A solid red. That top part, that's fading. That's
Is
no
what?
longer- That used to be red, the red at the bottom, but I guess the weather at the top is fading. It needs to be a solid color. It needs to be a solid red, or whatever color he wants to paint it.
Is it actually covered with paint?
It's coming off, it's deteriorating.
Okay. 30-170 doesn't talk about any consistency of color, it just says it has to be painted.
Yes, sir.
I mean, could he paint it 4 different colors? Could he
Yes.
paint?
As long as it look good from St. John's Avenue.
I mean, I'm not trying to be difficult, but I'm
No,
trying to
I'm
find the code is my guidance,
Yes.
and I have to look at what it says. And we kind of went through this with the last property over, what, that was something else as to how much you have to have. This has got paint all over it. So it's not like 90% of it's unpainted. It's not. It looks like it's probably 100% painted. All that door is not painted. Has that door got any paint on it at all?
No, sir. Doesn't-
yeah, so I can to remediate that, I can paint the door, I can paint that blue part or cover that sign, but it doesn't seem to allow or require the painting of that entire structure.
Well, right now he's only looking at the red part that faces the street. Is that correct?
Right.
Is there anything else on the front that's inconsistent or needs to be painted in the city's opinion?
No, sir.
Okay. Unless you've got something that says that it has to be a certain color or a certain consistent shade of a color, all it says it's got to be 90% covered.
That's covered 100%, and there's just some different shadings.
Well,
If you
I'm
look at
gonna
the
find-
building to the right, that's faded as well, but it's
and-
painted.
And I understand that, whether that's a violation or not, not really in front of us. But we're just looking at the building that's at 801 St. John's Avenue.
Right, that was just for reference, just in
Yeah,
terms
I
of.
understand what you're saying. And the concern the city has is trying to bring everything up to some kind of code that protects everyone. At least that's a theory behind all of this. So where we are, paint deteriorating in an inconsistent condition. There is some inconsistency there with the door. What about the frames around these windows? Can they be a contrasting color? Is that a yes? Or?
Yes.
Okay. So it's like you need to paint the door at least in that blue patch. So that is a violation, and we'll find that there is one based on that. There's a hole in the exterior wall, which has been demonstrated, broken windows, overgrown grass and debris. The chain link fencing is in need of repair, and there were some elements on the edge of the roof look like it was rotted. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And need to be repaired. Is that the laundry list?
Sir?
Is that the list?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Corzo, what do you think? They're going to want 30 days again.
Right, so I think we can fix a majority of this within the time. My only concern is the roof. That may be challenging to find a roofing contractor and in that time. I did have a question about the back portion where the blue building was, just so we're clear. And before we get to that, everything else, the paint, the windows, that should be able to be dealt with. But we plan on doing all of this when we do Emmett Street. So we're more or less working in the same time frame, Magistrate. So I would just ask for that same amount of time. And if you want to do it that way, we can get the contracts all together for all the properties and then have everything done within the 60 days.
Right, the city's consented to that. We'll go 30 days on acquiring all the necessary contracts, which will be May 20th. As the end of compliance, with the non-compliance being May 21st. And we'll give 60 days on completing the work. That will be June 21st with a non-compliance of June 22nd. They're asking for $100 daily fine if there is non-compliance. All right. And based on that, we'll enter an order to that effect. Do we have a correct address? Have you been getting the mail, Mr. Corza?
No, I've not. And if I could ask that communications be sent directly to me. In the past, they've gone to my family's home, and they're older, so sometimes they.
Can you give Mr. Green that address, please?
Yeah, sure. It's 13250 Gabor. That's Gabor Avenue, Orlando, Florida 32827.
Okay, we'll be sending out an order, and thank you for showing up today and participating.
Yeah, I appreciate you all working with me, and have a great
Well,
rest of your day.
again, what this does is establish the length of the leash. And they want you to,
Understood.
they very much want you to comply with it. Again, you don't want to have a repeat violation. It gets tedious and expensive. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, have a good day.
Okay. Are we having fun yet? All right. Okay, we have anyone else here for a respondent in one of the cases? Oak Street, 822 Oak Street. You are neighbors on Oak. This is still in the South Historic District down there. Oak. Gotcha. So are you here for that case? No? You're not here? I thought they were here for the other one. So anyone here for 822 Oak Street? You're just having a good time? Should I raise any questions about? Listen, like I said, it's not a public hearing, so the public doesn't come and speak. There are two sides who can call witnesses, the city and the respondent. That's who gets to call witnesses. All right. So we have no one here who's a respondent for 822 Oak Street. We'll hear it anyway. And because we don't have, do we have anyone here who's a respondent for 2424 Husson Avenue? That being the case, it doesn't matter which one we take next. Okay, so we'll take 822 Oak Street. Defendant, respondent is NYA LLC. It's amazing how many of these things are owned by corporations with regard to that. We have 6 violations, 30-32A, debris in the yard, under prohibited conditions and public nuisances, 30-171 windows, a window broken, 30-169 building fronts and sides abutting streets or public areas, rotten areas of building exposed, 30-170 rear and side walls, mildew and damage to exterior wall, 30-32C, prohibited conditions and public nuisances, illegal activity, and 30-179 other repairs, light fixtures, soffit damage, and other. Okay, Mr. Green?
Yes, sir. Page number 1, that's a picture of the building, the house. This one up. This one is the roofing. The roofing tile is peeling and it's inconsistent.
And so this is a color issue and peeling issue
Yes, sir.
under 30-32A10.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Same. That's the other side of the house.
okay. So this is about roofing tiles peeling
Yes, sir.
and the inconsistent color of the
Yes, sir.
tiles.
Yes, sir.
Have they just put different colored tiles on this to repair it? Shingles?
I think so.
Is this a natural condition or something, or just, anyways, inconsistent?
Yes, sir.
All right.
This one was above the porch.
So
There's
this
no
is
tar
just-
paper, no tar paper, no tile. No.
This is the underlayment with no tile on it
Yes, sir.
on the front porch. Okay.
Soffit.
Okay, it is rotted.
Yes, sir.
Well, actually, it's gone.
Yes, sir.
Is the truss underneath rotted?
It seems to be.
Is that a truss?
Yes, sir.
Okay, but right now you're looking at the soffit. Is the
Yes, sir.
issue? Okay, next.
The soffit.
Let me see if I can stand on my head and you take these photographs and sometimes they don't want to fit the arrangement. This is just a soffit hanging low there.
Yes, sir.
And
Coming
what
apart.
about in the front?
It's coming apart. Yes, man. Not need repair.
Okay.
Holes in it. Not painted.
And this is also 30-32A. Okay,
No soffit at all.
okay. See that?
This is the wall. It has molding and mildew on it.
Okay.
Close up.
So the yellow, is that actually that color? Is
Yes,
that
sir.
caulking?
No, sir. That's mold and mildew.
So in between the clapboards, I guess it is,
Yes, sir. And then-
siding is actual mold.
Yes, sir. And the green.
It's
going up.
yellowish.
Yes, sir. And the green going up the wall. That's the.
Okay.
mildew.
Very good.
And that's the front where the siding is coming apart.
All right.
And then the broken window.
This is 30-171 broken window.
Yes, sir. And then you have 30-175, like fixtures, exposed wiring. And that's on the porch.
Okay.
Exposed bulbs.
Is there any power service to this house?
Yes, sir.
Someone living in it?
Yes, sir. That was overgrown grass. They cut the grass.
Okay.
The next one would be pictures I took today.
All right.
Same. The roofing. The walls.
Okay. More mildew.
Yes, sir. Siding coming apart.
Okay. Is that vinyl siding
Yes, sir.
or is it vinyl?
Yes, sir.
I've never seen wood do that. So,
and that's the broken one that's still broke. That's a light fixture, still hasn't been fixed. This hasn't been,
Okay,
hadn't needs to be screened in.
all right.
That's right on 9th Street, right on where everybody passed by. And then you have the molding on the side of the wall behind it.
So mostly at the mold there.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What next? Anything?
And then next, you have the siding again, and then you have the junk and debris along that wall.
Okay. So back up a minute. So this one is just the mold on it?
Yes, sir. And the junk and debris on the ground.
I'm sorry?
The junk and debris on the ground.
Okay, gotcha. Very good. It's, we're looking at the bicycle and some assorted debris next
Yes,
to it.
sir. And then here, you got the building fronts, loose cable cords and unsightly material.
Hang on a minute.
I
You're
think
talking
it'd be
169D.
D, yes, sir. Mildew shall be cleaned from buildings having street visibility. Loose wires such as TV cable shall be secured. No more than 10% of the building having
Okay,
street
got it.
visibility may have mildew.
Okay. Next.
That's just a nuisance. It's in this loose cable on the ground.
Okay. Okay. Have you had any contact with the owner or representative of the owner?
No, sir.
No?
They'll mail the card back, but
All right. When you mailed the notice to him, did you get the green card back? Was it
the
signed?
first one,
Is that a part of the record?
yes, sir. You may have got the second one back also. Let me check.
But you've not had any contact with anybody who owns the property at all?
No, sir. We got the one.
Someone is living in there?
Yes, sir.
Have they been in contact with the owner? Do you know?
No, no.
Okay. And for the record, you do have the green card, because I don't have it in my packet. Certified mail. It's a notice thing. I want to make sure it's covered.
Yes, sir.
And it was signed by a representative of NYA LLC
Yes, sir.
or somebody at the address.
Yes, sir.
Where is that corporation located? What's the mailing?
St.
address?
Augustine.
It's in Augustine? Okay. I'm going to ask for the record if there's anyone here representing NYA LLC, the respondent. Seeing and hearing no one. 30 days is what the city's asking for.
Yes, sir.
Right, we're going to find, based on the evidence and testimony presented, violations of section 30-32A of the city code regarding prohibited conditions and public nuisances due to the debris in the yard. Section 30-172 for broken windows. Section 30-169 for rotten areas of the building exposed on building fronts and sides, abutting streets or public areas. Section 30-170 rear and side walls, mildew and damage to the exterior wall. Section 30-32C, prohibited conditions and public nuisances, illegal activity. What illegal activity? I didn't see anything. What are we looking at? Is there anything there that we're gonna?
Mr. Harwell, notice any illegal activity at 8220?
I mean, we need some evidence of it.
Well, the police have been there several times.
I'm sorry?
The police have been there several times.
Well, that's fine, but
Yeah. I don't have any evidence of any illegal activity, just,
we're not gonna find a violation of that at this
Okay.
point, based on the evidence adduced. So we will not find a violation on 30-32C, prohibited activity. Section 30-179, other repairs, light fixtures, soffit damage, is basically what you're looking at.
Yes, sir.
Okay. We'll have grant 30 days for compliance, which will be May 20th, 2021. In the event of non-compliance, a fine of $100 per day, $150 a day will accrue beginning May 21st, 2021. Do you have some kind of scale as how you come up with the amount of fine you want to give somebody?
25.
So this one was 150.
Sir?
This one was 150.
Yes.
Okay, so what's the difference? Okay. Just every now and then you might offer an explanation for what the difference is. Final case, case number 2021-19. The Jean B. Godfrey and Mary B. Godfrey Joint Trust in care of Gail Nell Smith, property at 2424 Husson Avenue in Palatka. Two violations, 30-171 of the code for broken windows, and Article 6, is that of the code?
Yes, sir. Minimum maintenance.
It's just got a different way of nomenclature for. It's in Rolling Hills.
Yes, sir.
You got a citation on Article 6, minimum standards of maintenance.
Yes, sir.
I don't see that one. No water or power while having residence.
Yes, sir.
You got a citation on that code of section I can look at? It says Article 6, minimum standards of maintenance. Okay, so it's the whole thing. So it's, I just don't have the subsection. Which subsection are we looking at?
Purpose.
So there's no specific code provision on no water or power while having residence?
The purpose, 3166.
Do you have anything on having water and power for residential use of the property? Anything at all?
Yes, sir. Faulty lot layout, relation to size, unsanitary or unsafe conditions.
I'll let you tell me what it is you want to cite, because what you cited previously was the preamble. Go back to it. It said the purpose of the article is promote public health, safety, and welfare by establishing minimal maintenance standards. But the minimum standards are what's in the sections that start with 30. There's nothing that says you have to have water and sewer to live in a house, or water and power to live in a house.
Scroll down, I would figure it'd be unsanitary, unsafe.
Aaron, when you scroll down the right side over there, you've got the landscaping, minimum standards for maintenance. Pop that one up. It just moves them down here. Just keep rolling, see what it says. Not too fast. Keep going. Public nuisance. Okay, keep going. Okay, just keep going. See what else it says. Building fronts and sides abutting. Keep going. Windows. Keep going. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Maybe. In the letter, did you cite a specific ordinance for him? The letter of
Minimum
notice?
maintenance.
You might, I can't build your case for you. Go back up to 3179, the other way. I mean, over the period necessary determined to safeguard the health and safety of possible building occupants or passersby. Could get it in. There's no water and sewer code.
No, sir. The
None?
gas authority said it was.
The only thing I see, this is Valeria Thomas again, Mr. Brown. I see in the definition section 30-212.
Well, they haven't cited them specifically with any of it, but let's look at it.
Let me find the subsection again.
Yeah, these are definitions again.
Yeah, it's definitions, the only thing I can see so far.
Yeah. Here's the problem I've got. As a
Yes.
matter of due process,
Yes, sir, I
the
know,
notice that you send to the respondent has to match up
right.
with what you bring to me as being heard as a violation. So if you're going to cite them for a violation of a particular aspect of the code, you need to let them know in that notice of hearing and the notice of alleged violation that that's what it's about. So they can come prepared for that. That's part of the notice situation. I don't know how to respond to no water and power while having residents right now. If you want to, I mean, yeah, I'm sure you can show me broken windows. Just as a matter of argument, how do you know, what's the proof of no water and power while having residents?
I have the pictures to show the water hose going from one house to another. I have pictures of water hose going to from one house to another, and electrical cords going from
So
one
is that
house.
in a photograph or
Yes, sir.
what? Can you show me at least what it looks like?
Yes. That's the water hose,
Okay.
and that's the water hose. The next picture,
Does it have a water connection?
I called the gas authority. The gas authority says it has a connection, but they don't have an account. I called them, matter of fact, this morning. They still don't have an
The
account.
gas authority provide water and
Yes, sir.
sewer? Really?
Yes, they provide the water. They turn the water on and off.
So they have connection, just not an account.
Sir?
Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay.
And in this picture, the electrical cords.
Yeah, you had some broken windows.
Yes, sir, in the front.
Is someone living in this now?
Yes, sir. I seen her this morning. In this picture, the cord going in the window.
All right. Is that an electric cord?
Yes, sir.
Where does that connect to? And where's the water coming from?
The house next door.
Very generous as a house next door. Who owns the house next door? Do you know?
No, sir.
Show me the broken windows.
That's the next picture.
How many are there?
2.
What's the other one?
Next.
Did you take the photographs you presented today?
Yes, sir.
Are the photographs actually represent the condition of the property and the date you took them?
Yes, sir.
And the dates are listed on each photograph?
Yes, sir.
Go back to Article 6. And yeah, go back to the code. And go back to, we had one, minimum standards. It was the general safety. That's the definition. That's not going to get it. There's a general safety section somewhere. Keep going. Whoa, so that's the other pairs. Okay, that might be it. What's 30-179 is in Article 6, and we'll look at that one. All other repairs to a building being determined necessary to safeguard the health, safety, and possible building occupants and passersby shall be made in accordance with applicable sections of the code. All right. There's a section of the code that requires water and sewers power service. Come on, it's got to be in there somewhere.
I'm looking.
All right, well, let's see what happens. We'll go ahead and find a violation of 30-171 and 30-179 based on the reference to Article 6 and the definition of the fact there's no power or water while having residents in the home. And the evidence of broken windows. Got some help there?
Chapter 86, section 61 are separate water service connection.
Okay, you understand how this goes together now? We got to find a way to bring it out. Okay, thank you. You got that at chapter 86? All right. We're going to find a violation based on both of those and the evidence and testimony adduced today. Compliance date should be 30 days from today's date, which is May 20th. In the event of non-compliance, which will begin on May 21st, 2021, a fine of $50 a day will accrue. Okay. There being no further cases, my stack is empty, and there being no further business, we will adjourn the proceedings. Let me know when you're off the air and